Hello. Let me know if you can hear us or if everything is all right. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. So welcome everyone to the time management workshop. We're so sorry for the late start here. But I'm Allison Marlowe, your student advisor at the Renaissance English Language Institute. A little bit about me is just that I graduated from the University of Waterloo just last year, and I've been teaching or taking over this role just since June. So it's been a lot of learning for me. I'm also studying in the ACE TESOL program right now. So that means I'm studying to be basically one of your instructors, hopefully one day. So it'll be really exciting. And today I'm joined with your peer leader, Khanh, and I'll let Khanh introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Khanh and I'm in my third year at University of Waterloo studying accounting and finance. And I'm very excited for today's workshop because I know this is a very important topic that everyone is focused on when they enter university and, along the journey of university as well.
Awesome, thanks, Khanh. So without further ado, we'll get into this. So I wanted everyone to kind of share in the chat. It can just be one word or maybe two if you want, but just how do you feel when you don't have enough time? So if you want to write something that you feel in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and share your feelings out loud. Someone saying frustrated, worried, definitely. Upset, very upset and frustrated, definitely. I think this is something that a lot of us can relate to. Stress, press, for sure. Stress and upset, absolutely. Stress. So feeling like you don't have enough time is just never a good feeling, is kind of what we're getting at here. So we want to give you some tips and some ways to be able to take care of yourself and manage your time so that you don't feel like you're short for time or you don't have enough. So we're going to do a super quick activity, which is a time audit. Normally we would spend a little bit more time on this, but obviously we don't have too much today. So I might just send you the file. And if you want to go through it a little more in detail, then feel free to message myself or Khanh and we can go over it with you. So what does the word audit mean? So audit kind of just means being able to figure out where all of our time is going and understand why we're using our time the way that we are and what that time looks like to us. So a time audit is where we figure out where we spend all of our time each week. So step one, using your worksheet, which I'll send to you in just a minute, you can figure out how much time you spend on common activities. So I'll find that on here. Sorry, it's always awkward when I have to find all of the extra bits and pieces for these meetings. There we are. So hopefully you can all take a look at this, if it will send to everybody. So yeah, there's just an Excel spreadsheet. I'll try and share it on my screen here just to give you guys a bit of a rundown of it. Can you all see that all right? Yeah, perfect. So when you do your time audit, you're just going to go through and say how many hours per day you spend doing each activity. And then it will tell you your total hours per week. So sleep, we know we should be getting between 7 and 9 hours. So hopefully we're putting at least maybe an 8 in that one. Grooming and personal hygiene, if you spend maybe 30 minutes a day, you'll put just a 0.5 and things like that. So you just want to go through each one and talk about how long it maybe takes you to get to work or school, how much time you spend doing volunteering, working, or clubs, errands, classes, and things like that. And at the very end, you're going to get the total hours spent on activities. So if this time is greater than 168 hours, then you need to work on your time management a little bit more and maybe focus on taking less focus away from certain activities like maybe grooming or watching TV, and work on switching that over to more time for studying. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, awesome. So you guys can have that that one there, the worksheet, and just kind of work your way through it. And then if you have any questions or you get stuck at all, feel free to message one of us and we're more than happy to help you out with that. So we're going to pass this over to Khanh, and she is going to go through 3 simple strategies to manage your time well.
Yeah, so the first strategy would be to make a master schedule. So as you can see, there will be a picture over here. So every week you will look at your, I would say usually for me, every Sunday, I will look at my upcoming week and see all the things I need to do. For example, my assignments, meetings with friends, appointments, and etc. And then I would put them on my calendar. So that would block, certain times, certain days in my week for classes, appointments, travel, time, and sleep. And after that, I will, and obviously things like eating, exercise, you can be flexible with it as long as let's say you really want to do a lot of exercises this week, you make sure that you block them out. But you know that you can be flexible with this as well. So it's all up to you how you would like to manage it. And last but not least is to take note of the free space. So at the end of all the note taking, you'll see, okay, which time do you have, how many hours you have, and then you can use the deadlines that you have and put it into your free space. So let's say next week I have an assignment due for my accounting class, and I noticed that on Tuesday I have 3 hours of free time. So I'll say, okay, maybe for that 3 hours, I will study for my accounting assignment. And that is how you make a master schedule for your week, for your upcoming week. Any questions so far about the first strategy? No? Okay, then we'll move on to the second strategy, which is to make a daily to-do list and schedule. So once that you have a weekly schedule, you will kind of know, let's say on Tuesday, I have to do an accounting assignment. I will go out to exercise and all that. But you just have that idea in your head. How will you execute it on a daily basis? So you will make a daily to-do list. I think it will show up on the right. Yeah. So let's say for my accounting assignment, when you say assignment, there's a lot of steps to it, right? So I would say, okay, for my accounting assignment for today, I will have to learn chapter 1 and 2. And I have to do the exercises for chapter 1 and 2. So that will be on my to-do list. apart from the assignment, let's say I have an appointment, then I would say, okay, appointment, with a doctor at like 7 a.m. and etc. So try to be more specific, because when you're not that specific, the next day you wake up in the morning, you would, I have this like confused feeling about what I should do today. And then, it's easier to just wake up and see, oh, okay, here's my to-do list. And it's easier, and you have more motivation to plan out the night before than to plan out the early morning that you wake up. Yeah, so Benjamin Franklin, I don't really know exactly about the history, but he was a very famous person, still is, I don't know. So if you combine the daily schedules, you plan it ahead, it will help you, it will motivate you to complete the task more. So make sure that you have a weekly one and a daily one. So the third strategy is to plan backwards for major deadlines. So, I have brought up that I have an accounting assignment that, let's say, is due the next 2 weeks, and I will do it this Tuesday for 3 hours. Sorry, that was my phone. Sorry, that's my alarm. But how do you know which part of the assignment I should get started on, or where I should start with my assignment? So thankfully, Waterloo has a link for it, and I will copy it over into the chat. And I think I will share my screen. Screen 2. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
I think it's just loading. It just says Khanh has started sharing screen.
Okay, sounds good. I think Zoom is a bit frozen on my side too, because you guys are all frozen right now. Okay, can you guys see it now? Yep. Okay, so if you go onto this link, this is the online Waterloo library. You will have the assignment planner. So let's take the research essay. So backwards planning means that you have this big assignment coming up, but you have multiple steps that lead to that assignment. How do you plan it out? Because you can just not, do the assignment on one day, like the day before the deadline. So backwards planning is to list out all the major things that you have to do and how long it would take it, and go back, let's say, to weekly and to daily to assign the task. So let's say my assignment is due on September 27th, next 2 weeks. Oh wait, no, begin assignment is tomorrow. Due on the 28th, next 2 weeks. Create plan. Okay, and you can see over here, they have suggestions on how you could plan ahead your assignment, which is an essay in this case. So, let's say by September 15th, which is 2 days from now, you should, understand what your assignment is about. You should, conduct the research, choose a topic, and develop a research question or research statement. So that is September 15th. September 20th, next Monday, which is 1 week from now, you should have designed your research strategy. Let's say what types of literature you want to use, what type of information, data you want to use. And then you will have to find your resources and see if they're accurate, they're reliable, and conduct all the research. So the research phases should be done by next Monday. moving on, September 22nd, you will start, organizing your essay, develop your statement outline and all that. And like like the point, we'll just Waterloo Library gives us like a suggested deadline for all the steps that we need to do for an essay. And obviously you will have to be flexible and work it with your own schedule, because not every assignment looks the same and not everyone's schedule looks the same. So if you want to explore the page, there are several more resources on article review, like, math assignment as well, but that's pretty convenient. But yeah, okay, I'll stop sharing my screen. Stop share.
Perfect. Thank you, Khanh. So just as a quick little group activity in the chat, or again, if you want to just unmute yourself and share out loud, just want to see if you have any ideas of like other strategies that you might use that maybe we didn't cover, we didn't talk about, and to see if there's anything that you guys do that you can share to help your classmates or even help Khanh and I as we still try and figure out how we can properly manage our time too. So leave it up there for a second. Let's hope to get maybe 3 different strategies that we haven't talked about yet. Khanh saying in the group chat, does anyone use a Google, Apple, or Outlook calendar? That's a really good one to use too. Something that I use for work still and used for all of my assignments and classes in university too. So that's really good. Then you always get the reminders of when you need to go to class or what assignments are coming up, and you can have that constantly in your face every time you look at your phone. That's always nice to have. I also use a day planner, like a physical day planner. And that really helps me to outline what to do at each hour of the day. Ooh, Rito says, I usually use to-do lists of iOS. That's really cool. And Haruka uses the Google Calendar app on my smartphone. That's awesome. Yeah, these are really great to use and to get used to having all the time. Google Calendars and Apple Calendars, absolutely. Mac Calendar, that's perfect. Yeah, whatever is available to you and what works for you is really great to have. Awesome, good job, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. I do have one more quick question, if you don't mind keeping up this energy. But I just wanted to question kind of, why do we procrastinate? Because we know we don't like the feeling that we get when we feel like we don't have enough time or we're a little bit pressed for time. So why do we do it? Maybe if anyone has any ideas, I'll wait for maybe 3 different ones as well. And there's no right or wrong answer either. Less motivated, for sure. I know if I'm not motivated or really excited about an assignment, it takes me a very long time to get started on it. Definitely. Thank you, Kenza. Don't like to do the task? For sure. Yeah, task is always boring or assignments are boring. Definitely. It feels like that very often. Want to use the time doing what I want to do, or you want immediate enjoyment? For sure. Yes, I'm Also someone who needs just instant satisfaction. So if it takes me a little bit to get into an assignment or understand it, then I will not want to do it at all. Tend to feel like it's too difficult to solve. Don't know exactly how much time I have. Absolutely. No, these are all really great answers and completely true. And I think all of us at some point have felt that every piece of this, and in our procrastination life and our student lives. And it's definitely something that sticks with us for a very long time. So here are some reasons that I could come up with for why we procrastinate. And a lot of them are exactly what you all said. So the task seems too difficult and we want to avoid failure. Something we see with students very often is this idea of perfectionism. And you don't want to do an assignment if you're not going to be perfect at it or get a really, really good grade. So it feels uncomfortable to start something that we don't think we can do perfectly. We feel like we don't have enough time to complete the task, which is great that you are all here today so we can learn how to feel like we do have the time and to make the time to actually complete everything. Poor mental health. So maybe you're feeling anxious or a little more depressed when you've gotten the assignment, or as you find yourself working on it, you get a little more worked up. So that will definitely take us away from putting in the effort or actually doing the assignment as well. Like you all said, not interested in the task or the topic. Maybe there's too much pressure from your parents to do really well, from yourself to do really well. So again, the idea of wanting to be perfect in everything, or the task doesn't feel rewarding. So I mentioned instant gratification. So wanting to be feel like you are getting something out of the assignment immediately, or feel like you are getting some sort of praise from it, and you're not getting that through every single task in the assignment. So some common ways that we procrastinate are cell phones, always. So that includes being on social media, texting and talking, playing video games, reading the news sometimes, computer and console games. I know everyone just got the PS5, so we're really excited about that. And, you know, sometimes that does seem a little bit more, just a little more engaging. Television and movies, maybe you're binge watching the new Gossip Girl, and that feels a lot more exciting than writing a paper. Socializing with friends, especially if you are living on your own with friends for the first time, it can be very easy to spend time with them and watch TV shows together or hang out together rather than working on your homework. Shopping, especially with online shopping right now, it is way too easy to find a really good sale online and forget all about all of your homework. And sleeping. I fall into this one very often. Sleeping is so important, but we've got to make sure that we're doing it at the right times. So I really like this kind of graphic here, procrastinate now and panic later. So it really does sum up just a procrastinator's life and how we think and what we want to do. It's just satisfy ourselves right now, but we know that we are going to panic about our grades and our classes later on. So here are some of the ways to actually do the things that we want to do and actually implement all of our tasks and hopefully avoid procrastination. But just remember, before I kind of go into this, before Khanh and I talk about these strategies a little bit more, just remember that time management is not going to be an immediate thing that happens for you. You won't pick up a day planner and suddenly everything will start falling into pieces or falling into place, and you'll be an incredible time manager and be able to get all of your things in on time, and you'll never stress or anything like that. It's not sunshine and rainbows that way, sadly. I wish it was. That would make everything so much easier for all of us. But it is just a journey that you're going to take. You will try some time management things that maybe we've shared with you, maybe that you find on your own, and maybe they'll work really well and you'll keep bits and pieces, or they won't work for you. So maybe a written day planner isn't going to work for you, but keeping a Google Calendar will, and you don't actually realize that until you try each one and see what sticks. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And just remember, like, not to be so hard on yourself if you make a whole plan and it doesn't quite work the way that you want it to. It's just building those habits takes a very long time. And we're here to support you through all of it. So don't forget to come and talk to us if you need a hand. So with that being said, here are a handful of ways that we can avoid procrastination. So for one, follow a schedule with all of the different ways that we've talked about, maybe setting reminders and things like that. Two, break down assignments into smaller tasks. So Khanh was talking about backwards planning. So working that way and knowing all of the little things you need to do makes a really big and scary task seem super easy when you break it down into 10 to 30-minute work chunks. Reward yourself with enjoyable activities after you finish a task. So maybe after 30 minutes of studying, you want to scroll into Instagram for 15 minutes. So you can give yourself that satisfying reward every time you do something well. Remove the temptation. So put your cell phone in another room or even your computer and work just with your hands or on pens and papers. So it's less things to distract you. And take frequent breaks. So most adults can concentrate for a maximum of 50 minutes before needing at least a 5-minute break. So don't push yourself too hard. So you are sitting at the computer trying to study for 3 hours. That's not going to work for you. No one's brain can handle that much information in that time. So just make sure that you take regular breaks throughout your schedule, your studying. And work with a friend. So misery loves company. If you struggle with keeping yourself focused and that maybe a bit of self-discipline, having someone else there might help, because if you get distracted, you're also taking away from their time to study and focus. So you feel a little more obligated to actually do the work. You can tell others about your plan. So this makes you feel responsible to the other person as well. So if I tell Khanh that I'm maybe going to start running a mile every single day, and Khanh sees me 3 weeks from now and she says, I thought you started running. Why haven't you been running? Then I'm going to start feeling guilty for not running because Khanh told me that I haven't been keeping up with my goals. But also, like I said before, forgive yourself. So time management is a skill that you'll practice and deal with for your whole life. So just make sure that you are kind to yourself through the whole process and taking the time to really give yourself the chances that it takes to kind of perfect it along the way. Mistakes will happen, and the trick is to just learn from the mistakes and do better next time. Just keep that in mind while you're making your new plans and entering the semester. So I think we'll just talk about a handful of organization tools. So one thing is called Kanban Boards. So it looks like this. So you use maybe a whiteboard or just a piece of paper and split it into 3 different sections. So one is your to-do section, your doing, and then you're done. So under to-do, you'll write down all of the tasks that you need to do in order to complete your assignment or to study for your test. And once you start doing a piece of the puzzle, you move that note over to the doing section. So you know that's what you've been working on. You can see everything that you still need to do, but you have your doing section, so you know exactly where you're at. And then once you finish that assignment or that piece, you move it over to done, and you know that you've completed it. So it's a really nice visual organization aid So you can see exactly what you're doing and how long it's been taking you. Maybe if you notice you've been stuck at the same 4 sticky notes for the last 2 weeks, then you know that you need to kind of get moving on it a little more. But it's also very satisfying to move a sticky note from doing to done. And you can tell yourself like, oh, that was easy, or I've made progress. And you can see it and you get to feel that satisfaction right away. There are also virtual Kanban boards on a website called Trello.com. This is something that one of our old co-op students kind of introduced to the office this summer, and I started using it and absolutely love it. So if anyone wants just a proper Trello tutorial or anything someday, let me know and I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. But you can see she has a bunch of different sections to her Trello. So you can see all of the previous weeks completed. So things that she finished so long ago. And then she has her done section. So once she finishes something in progress, she moves it to done. And then it gives you a little sparkle saying like, yay, congratulations, you've completed your assignment. And then she can move on to her to be completed tasks and go through those and then move them to in progress as needed, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just watching all of the pieces move over to making progress and shifting back to being done. So it's very easy to keep track of all of the things that you need to do, and you can add the dates and times that you need to complete them as well. Yeah, so some of the benefits of using a Kanban type of sheet is that you can visualize your tasks and your progress. You feel a greater sense of accomplishment once you've completed the task, and you can actually show your employers your organizational skills. So you can pull it up in an interview or afterwards and just show them like, oh, this is exactly what I worked on throughout the term. This is how I stayed on top of it and how I made sure I got all of my work done on time. And they really like to see that. They like to see new and inventive ways of being organized within the office. So kind of getting used to using something like this is really good for them to see. But yeah, it can also be accessed on a variety of devices. So Trello has a website and an app. So if you're out in public and you decide that, oh, I remember I have to do this piece of my assignment. So you can go pull it up on your app and just add it in so that you don't forget for later. So yeah, they're really, really nice and easy to use. And then just a quick poll here. I think I made it. Yeah. Do you schedule how long you study or work for? It's really just like a yes or no. But if you want to take a quick second to answer that. So if you do it every single time, you know exactly how long you're going to study for. Do it sometimes, like maybe once or twice you'll remember to, or you have in the past, or you don't ever. Remember, it's anonymous. Don't worry if no one's gonna think that you're, oh no, this person doesn't do this. It's okay. I genuinely don't think I ever did in university. So just remember, we're all learning. So I'll end that and share those results. So yeah, that is really interesting. No one does it every time. So hopefully maybe we can get more into the habit of doing that now. A lot of you do it sometimes, which is really great to sort of start rolling with the habit of it. A handful of you have in the past. So maybe it was a habit that you used to have and kind of fell out of it, or it was something that you tried and just didn't work for you. So that's okay too. And one of you, no, never, just like me in university, don't worry, you can still get by without. And we'll show you a couple ways to kind of schedule how long you're going to work for. If Khanh wants to take over here.
So I was introduced to the idea of the Pomodoro Timers in my first year. And so you can look into it in the internet, but I think this is a study, and they did a study, and they believe that on average, this is a pretty good way, a pretty optimal way to organize your schedule and organize your work time. So before every working session, you will schedule obviously when you work and for how long. So let's say my accounting assignment for 3 hours. Instead of doing it the whole 3 hours, which I might not be able to focus for that long, or like I'll get tired and it might not be as efficient or effective. I can break it into 25-minute work time. So as you can see here on the screen, first we decide on a task that we need to do. And then we set the timer to 25 minutes. So after that 25 minutes, we'll take a short 5-minute break, and we will, do like that cycle again 4 times. So that will approximately 30 times 4 is around 2 hours, I believe. Not entirely sure, but that's how it works. And I believe by the end of the 4 cycles, you can take like a 15, 30-minute breaks. It's all up to you. So I think this is a really good way to make sure that you keep your attention span and you get the rest that you need. So some benefits of the Pomodoro technique is you have a better understanding of how long the task will take you to complete. So let's say I predict that my accounting assignment will take me 3 hours. But I noticed that, let's say I completed, only 2 hours, or maybe I completed in 4 or 5 hours. So next time, if I have a similar assignment, I will know myself better on how to schedule my work, or how to time my work. It also reduces distractions because you have a timer in front of yourself. So you know that, I cannot leave my work until the alarm rings. So that gives you a little bit of pressure to not get distracted. And also it provides time for you to not worry about work. So, when we procrastinate, we feel bad about it, but we still procrastinate. So the Pomodoro technique gives you that, sense of accomplishment. In that 5 minutes, you're like, I have this 5 minutes for myself, which doesn't sound much, but after you finish your 4 cycles or how many cycles you want, you feel that sense of like, I've been very disciplined with myself. And obviously maintain your attention span. It also gets you in a routine, because, the first time you do it, you might not like it as much, but the more and the more you do it, you'll find yourself be, more familiar with the technique. And there's some apps for it. So I really like the forest one, because it said, I believe, you can see the tree kind of like grows on your screen as you study. So, by the end of your study session, it's like a big like tree on your screen, and you feel like, you have accomplished something. And it makes you less distracted, because, if your tree is like this small, that you have not done much with your work. And there's Focus Tomato, where you can set your own time to work and how long to break, whether you follow the technique or not. And you can also work in silence or have like, white noise or music playing. So there are very useful apps to use during your work hours.
Awesome. Thanks, Khanh. So yeah, I hope you try out those apps. The Forest app is super cute to use. I use it all the time. It's so nice. But yeah, just to kind of wrap everything up really quick, learning to manage our time is a skill that takes practice, like we said. So don't expect to be perfect at it right away. It takes so long to perfect, and you guys will get there, I promise. The strategies that you've learned today can help you manage your time more effectively. So when I post all of this on your Learn Hubs and everything. I'll add in all of the handouts that go with each strategy that we shared. And you can also feel free to just message myself or Khanh, and we're happy to send those to you directly as well. And also remember that everyone is different. So a strategy that works well for someone else might not work for you. And you can just try different things until you figure out what actually helps you personally. So what works for your friend might not actually be something that works for you, and that's totally okay. So remember that the peer leaders, so Khanh, Lucky, Sarah, and Wanting, are always here for you, and so am I. You can always book a one-on-one meetup with any of us, and we're more than happy to help you with managing your time and going over these strategies a little bit more for you if you wanted. And I just have a quick exit survey if anyone has a minute. It's not mandatory or anything. I'm just going to send it in the chat. But yeah, it's just kind of for our information to see what everyone got out of the workshop and how we can make it better for next time. But yeah, does anyone have any questions at all? I know we're pretty far out of time right now, but I can hang out for another about 5 minutes if anyone has any questions or wants to talk. But other than that, thank you all so much for coming out today. We really appreciate it. And we hope that you all learned something really exciting or really good for you. So yeah, have a good night. Oh, you can't open the form?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the wrong link. It's okay. Don't worry. Thank you so much for trying though.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.